Maggie never does that.
Made me pretty proud.
Maggie just likes to lick the other dog until it's like, get away. That's how she scares them off. What a dog. How are you, old friend?
I'm great, honestly. You know, like it was a
The
bit
best
cloudy.
day.
It's a bit cool, but I like the fall, autumn weather. So yeah.
And it's Tuesday. Like it's so nice. I was telling you guys earlier about how when like the day starts, and especially coming off a weekend and when you're like fighting all the flus and colds and all that stuff. I was in here and I did a bunch of promo stuff and I did a bunch of payroll stuff and this and that and paying people and invoicing.
Oh,
all
you
this
mean no
garbage.
fun?
Yeah, the worst time. And as I was sitting here, I just got so down and depressed. And I was like, you know what? I don't know if I can even do a show today. It's going to be so bad. And then I saw your sweet face and I saw your sweet face. And all of a sudden, totally uplifted, we recorded another incredible episode of the All That Eggs podcast. And now we're feeling good.
Yeah, that Descendants. I'm gonna give some credit to that Live Edge album.
You know, it's so fun to have that music on. I said to you that we should do that before every show. Just like the 20 minutes or like 50 minutes before, just put some punk rock on and just let it hang and just get us in the zone.
It's the way to do it.
And we all just start singing. You know, it's like everyone just
Yeah.
starts singing. It's like, oh, I love this song. And then the conversations keep going, so it doesn't stop anything. It just adds to it, which I love.
Well, I've always been like, have you ever like went to like a house party or someone's like, and they just have no music on, and I like it. It's one of the
very
things
weird.
that freaks me out
Yeah.
completely. I need to have music playing to feel
Silence
comfortable.
horrifies
Yeah,
me.
it does.
That's my my thing in the shop too. Like it's. I mean, I find a playlist of some kind. Generally,
What
it's
kind are you allowed to
more-
play there?
What's that?
What kind of music are you allowed to play, or is it up to you?
I can play whatever the hell I
Yeah,
want. My friggin'
dude.
shop. That being said,
You don't want to scare customers
I
away.
don't want to scare customers away. I want something that maybe they're coming in, snapping their fingers and tapping their toes. So it's generally, you know, like they're oldies, rock oldies, or just like guitar instrumental
And how old
kind of
what
thing.
are we talking? Like,
Like 60s, 70s,
Oh, yeah.
80s kind of thing. Probably more like the 60s, 70s.
The
I-
60s
kind of vibe.
channel on Sirius, my dad has it on all the time in his truck, and we went out to do a Costco run today and pick up this giant filing cabinet, because apparently people need filing cabinets. It's such a...
where you
God.
got
What else
that-
are you going to put your files in, Gary?
I don't even have any files to
Need a-
put anywhere.
Don't have enough files to necessitate the need
entire
for a filing cabinet.
Wayne's World,
Wayne's World again.
gun racks.
I need a dinger for every
Yeah.
time we Wayne's World. Ding.
A counter? Do you have
Yeah.
a counter?
Yeah, so Wayne's World, that's why we're quoting it so much.
Oh,
What?
but we
Leave
didn't
it to
even
the
know.
viewing room to let
I
us
did
know.
this-
That's
Dude.
impressive.
Wayne's World, Party Time Excellent, out on this day.
So a remake.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh!
I think
they
there's a new
remade it. I
Wayne's-
was-
What's
I
going
thought
on?
this was the day that it came out.
Wake me up when
You
September
thought like
ends.
historically
Yeah.
he was okay,
Like
like on this
94
day
or
in
whatever it was.
1990,
Yeah.
whatever.
I think
Yeah.
it's 94.
Yeah.
Either way, the viewing room with an incredible review of Wayne's World. They went over to, was it Roxy or Broadway? Over to the Roxy with our friend A.A. Ron and the Coliseum Presents crew, and they always put on an incredible, incredible party. And actually, our buddy Lame Train was also there, and a bunch of the boys went. My buddy Big C went in there. We had a whole crew to go check out the Big Wayne's World, and they did a fantastic review on it, which you can go and check out right now, because I believe it has been posted, and it is live, and it is oh so good. I always laugh about how our young bucks, the young kids, 18, 19-year-old dudes out here just crushing it. Like we have, I think, 7 shows right now, and 2 more that are coming down the pipe that have been recorded, and we're sort of just finessing. And nobody puts the work in like the viewing room boys. Like they have formats of the stuff. They have audio commercials. They have teasers. They have a strict schedule where they get stuff done all the time. And it's just so interesting to me that the kids with like the least amount of stuff to do, you know, because they don't have like family and life and all this stuff, because they're still just growing up and being kids. They're doing all the work. They're doing everything the way it's supposed to be done, and everyone else is sort of like taking advantage of the fact, like, yeah, we're just getting started. We're feeling things out. You know, we're going with the flow. They're like, hell no, dude. We're going and we're crushing. So, great job to you guys. If there was any raises ever to be given, you guys would probably get them.
Yeah, thanks for making me feel worse about myself. Appreciate it.
Hey, you guys, we're number 2.
Okay.
We come in
Okay,
here
all
real
right.
good.
I'm
We
happy
come
with
in here
number 2.
very, very good, as we do every Tuesday. And we get our shows recorded. I just saw the One Bad podcast. I was talking to the boys earlier today, And KD and I were talking about this Friday. We're going to record a couple more. I think it might just be with him and I because Shaner is traveling around for the rest of this week. So, and we're also, and this is an interesting thing that I never even thought about as we get set to transition into shows that you see here on our network being carried over on other networks like Rogers on the television.
No big
whatever
deal.
channel that is. Yeah, and One Bad Podcast is on there. So I was mentioning to them, it's like, you know, I don't know how many shows you have to do before they can sort of syndicate it on these things. Because Shaner was talking about how it might be time like to wrap up the show in like the next month or two, just because the whole point of that show, being the One Bad Podcast, was to celebrate their 20 years in music. And I didn't even think about an end to it. I thought it would just go, but it's like, no, I guess you can only tell so many stories.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So we're trying to get to a point where we can get enough episodes that they'll rotate on the former Shaw, now Rogers.
That's cool.
It's exciting. Like they want Pulse Power as well, so we've given them that with Aiden. New episode dropping yesterday, and as well the Viewing Room. Once that gets settled in, we're going to get them over there on as well, which is great for people who don't know how to do the YouTubes, but they can turn it to Channel 10 or I don't know what Shaw is anymore because it's not even Shaw, it's Rogers. But it's just really cool to know that we're doing stuff that other people want to promote. So it makes me feel like we're doing good stuff. As we are hanging out with the All Out Angst podcast, boys, I got some stuff I want to get to here. I was on the podcast. We tend to stick to, music and the cool stuff that we like. But there was some stuff going on over the last day or two, I guess. Pete Rose. You guys know Pete Rose at all?
Yeah, gambling.
Yeah, Charlie Hustle, the man. He had over 4,000 hits. 3,000 sort of the benchmark. 4,000 hits. He passed away yesterday. And I think he was born like 36. So he was in his 80s, like mid-80s, I think, low to mid-80s. He did some gambling. A little bit of gambling.
We all do.
A touch of gambling. And never bet on his own team. But the greatest hitter in the history of baseball as we know it is not in the Hall of Fame because he made a couple little wagers, had a little fun. He spent most of his post-playing career trying to convince people to let him into the Hall of Fame. You got, right now, and this is what really irks me, the greatest hitter of all time, the greatest home run hitter of all time, both being left out of the Baseball Hall of Fame.
It's garbage. 100%.
How does that happen?
You gamble a little bit or you do the steroids.
But, yeah,
okay.
my
It's
thing-
political.
yeah.
It's, yeah.
Yes.
If you're gambling on yourself, you should be allowed to do it. Like, it's if you're gambling against your team, I totally get that. That's not cool. If you want your team to win, why is that bad?
If there was a reason to throw, yes, that would be because you're betting on another team. I'm with you. I'm totally with you. And the fact that the Hall of Fame has kept this guy out for so long, literally until he died. Do you think they will ever let him? Do you think they should let him in now that he's passed away? Like, is it even worth it?
I think they should, and I think they will.
Interesting.
Although I
He had
have
to
no
die. He
no
had to-
authority.
You're gonna write a strongly worded
Yeah,
letter.
it's
I will.
very angry.
That and getting Stephen Page back into the Bare Naked Ladies are going to be my
Oh,
two.
you lovers in a dangerous time. Sorry.
Lovers in a dangerous time. But yeah, that's going to be my life's mission, is to make that happen.
Well, and he should be in there. Like, I'm totally with you. Now, the Barry Bonds thing is a little bit different, but still, you have the greatest, and it's a bad look for baseball, right? The greatest home run hitter of all time, the greatest contact hitter of all time, two of the greatest baseball players in the history of the sport are both not in the Hall of Fame. What are you even doing?
I know.
Like, with the steroid stuff, put an asterisk there. No one cares. Put an asterisk.
Right.
Go in there and say, hey, here's our steroid wing. You won't believe what these guys did.
Yeah. Well, how many are on there and they just weren't caught?
Yeah.
Right? Like
all of them.
in friggin'
Everyone was
baseball,
doing it. It's just like with
like-
wrestling, man.
Right.
Everybody was doing it. No one
Yeah.
talked about it. Baseball was coming off the strike because, and I don't know if you guys know this, you might know this because you're a baseball guy. The strike of 1994, the Toronto Blue Jays coming off back-to-back World Series victories for the third time. The title was about to go north again, but to Montreal, because the Expos had the best team in baseball, and they were they were about as guaranteed as you can guarantee for a team to win a World Series. And Major League Baseball said, there's no way in hell we're letting Canada take 3 in a row. So we're striking. So they shut the whole season down, and then the Expos did not win, and that led to the Expos see you later because they couldn't recover from it. And so baseball comes back. They're trying to win over the fans after this strike basically turned everyone off and turned everyone away. And they say, how can we do this? What do people really like to see?
Dingers.
Chicks dig the long ball, baby. So then you're getting the commercials with Big Mac and Sammy Sosa socking dingers all day. Everybody was doing steroids, just like in wrestling, because there was no rules against it. That's my biggest argument
It's kind of like an unwritten rule that that's what was happening.
If you think they shouldn't be using this stuff, then ban it. It's real easy. It's so easy. But no, they didn't because they wanted dingers. So they shot themselves in the foot. And my point here is, you're going to keep guys out of the Hall of Fame for doing something that wasn't even illegal? Like eventually, obviously, you say, okay, these are performance enhancing and this and that. But when it was getting started, when baseball was so desperate to bring fans back, that they let everybody juice. The whole world, everyone's juicing. Let's get those balls the hell out of here.
It's such a fine line, too, because there's like obviously the steroids where you're bulking up, but weren't a lot of them using it just to like help with injuries to like, you know,
stay on the field.
Increase the speed of, you know, like
Absolutely.
an injury. So like, again, yeah, you don't want to be taking stuff that isn't natural, but like I see how it happened, you know, to like get off that DL list.
Dude,
you know.
Barry Bonds, I believe his hat size grew 3 to 4 sizes.
When you look at the old baseball card.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. And so like everyone knew what was happening is my point here. Like everyone could see the transformations that these players were making. And another one of the big things in favor of like just looking past this whole thing and let them in the damn Hall of Fame is the fact that you still had to be really good at hitting. Like hitting a baseball is one of the hardest things to do in all the sports. No matter what sport it is. It's so hard to do. So if you don't have that hand-eye coordination, you could do all the steroids in the world. It won't matter. But when you have that, like a Barry Bonds, and then you add the girth and you add the pop, like watching like Mark McGwire swing, when that dude was on, not just the juice, but like in the zone, it looked like he was barely swinging. And the impact was so violent with the ball. Like it would just jump. Like these guys were averaging 490, 500-foot dingers.
So is he in the Hall of Fame?
No, none of them are getting in.
Okay, so
If you were busted for steroids, you aren't getting it. That's basically it. And the guys that admitted to it, they sort of like an Andy Pettit. I don't know if he's in or not, but there were some guys that came out and said, yeah, all right, you got me, I did it, I'm very sorry, which is all you got to do. But everyone's got so much pride and everyone wants to stick it to the man so much.
Yeah, like Mark did it for health purposes.
Yeah, of course. You got to recover and you got to do this and I got this disease and this stuff helps.
So are some people in because they admit it?
I don't know. That's something I didn't go deep enough into. I'm just spitballing all of this. This is probably the longest tangent I've ever gone on.
I'm still singing Chicks Dig the Long Ball in my head. It's a band out of, I don't know, somewhere in Ontario called the Isotopes.
Okay.
And they're
from The Simpsons.
They're kind of like a pop
yeah.
punk rock band. They've got a song. Chicks Dig the Long Ball. Their whole album is baseball.
Are we going to?
I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to bring it in one of these days.
I like this.
We'll listen to it.
It's like Austrian Death Machine we were talking about before. Rubber Baby Bubba Bumpers. And all those amazing Arnold Schwarzenegger songs. I love concept albums like that.
Well, this is their whole
That's a shtick,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're called the friggin' Isotopes.
Yeah.
So they come in, they've got like an angry umpire guy that comes on the stage.
so good.
That sounds because there's also the Oakley Dokleys.
Yes, the Flanders band,
The
the
Flanders
metal.
band. That was pretty big
They're
around.
all dressed like Ned Flanders.
Yeah.
And they're like metal hard. And I'm putting this all together. Like, will we ever see a really popular concept album, like thinking like Mastodon and like these bands that tell entire stories through an entire album? Is that possible anymore with the way music's going? Because we're not really putting CDs out anymore, right?
Yeah, albums aren't really as big of a thing as they used to be. So obviously anything's possible, but I don't know. Right now, it kind of seems like the singles are where it's at, or collaborations and this and that. But yeah, I don't know. It does take a little bit of you got to get into the full album.
According to Mastodon,
you got to read the lyrics. And
takes a lot of acid, is what I heard.
Yeah.
Like you got to trip on a lot of acid to write a song or to write an entire album about Nostradamus and like the end of the world and predicting stuff, or like Moby Dick, all these really cool little ideas.
Yeah, Judas Priest did a Nostradamus concept album, and it's probably my least favorite of theirs. The issue is Judas.
You're a tough judge, though. You love Judas Priest.
And I feel like Judas Priest is supposed to be like driving, kind of like twin harmonies, very melodic, and this was just like a mid-tempo the whole way through.
Oh,
and
not much
it
change.
It like never picks up,
Yeah.
and I feel like I've tried. Every 5 years, I'll pop it back on, and I'm just like, nope, still not ready for it.
I love
Back
how you
on the
give it
shelf
time.
you go.
Yeah.
Oh, I love giving albums that I don't like. Like, there's again, Thin Lizzy, one of my favorite bands again. But they've got some albums that are kind of just a little too, like, almost like funky and soul. And I'll try them out every couple years, and I'm like, nope, still not into it. But
Maybe when I'm 50.
yeah.
Maybe when
But
I'm
sometimes they do hit, and you're like, ah.
There it is. A band that does that quite a bit is Rush. I don't know if you guys have heard of this band, Rush.
A little band called Rush.
A little band
Sure.
called Rush. My buddy, Big Boy with Deneb Finishing, who built this lovely tooth booth that we got. He was like my Rush Sherpa, if you will. He brought me into the world, and he comes over every Tuesday. We play NES Open, and we listen to our 4 Rush albums. So it started out with A Farewell to Kings. That's the one that got me into it. And I fell in love with the song Xanadu, the second song on the track, but everything about that entire album, incredible. Like Cygnus X1, the final track, that's where he got the name for Deneb. It's from the Deneb Galaxy, which is super cool. He named his business after it, which is super cool. And then we ventured into 2112, which is obviously one of my favorite songs. Like just the song 2112, but that album is so good as well. And then we went into... This is going to bug me now because I do it. Oh, Signals. Ah, boo. And there's one in between. But my point is that he still goes through all the albums. Because he owns all of them, obviously. And he's still, every couple of years, he tries to get into like the one or two that sort of turned him off from the music.
Ponytail and shoulder pad blazer era.
I believe it's also called the cocaine era, which is tough to get into for him. But these bands, and the other side to that is that these bands are trying something different. I'll never get mad at anyone for trying something different, right?
Rush has always been that way, because I remember when we were watching their kind of behind the music or whatever, and they were, 4 albums, and and the label want it. They're like, you can't be doing long songs, you can't be doing this, and that's when they put out 2112, and they're like, and then it just ends up being a huge album for them, and the labels are kind of like, oh, maybe they are onto something.
Maybe this can work.
But
Before we get to that, Farewell to Kings, 2112, Fly By Night, and Signals. Those are the 4. And then we're about to bring another one in. Every couple of months we try to bring another album into our rotation while we play the NS Open. But that story, that's one of the things that made me fall in love with Rush, was when the label said, guys, your songs are too long, you can't be doing this, all right? If you keep doing this, we're going to have problems. We need short hits. They're like, okay, boss, you got it. And what do? They take an entire side of a record and make it one song.
And they went into it being like, you know what, we're fine if this is our last album.
this is
like
it.
they were fine with it.
And the whole song is about not giving in to the man, the temples of Syrinx. Like all of these dudes that are telling you can't do this. Like literally a part of the song is just Alex Lifeson tuning his guitar in a waterfall. It's just tuning.
Yeah.
That's it. And it sounds so beautiful. Like, what can this strange device be? And it's so, like, it just sucks you in the story they tell.
You as a listener, you're like, this guy's learning what a guitar is and how to play it. And it's just really exciting.
And he's so excited to bring it to, the priests of the temples of Syrinx and be like, you guys, look at this. This is incredible. Like, you guys, have you ever heard of music? They're like, yeah, we heard of it. And we don't like it. So no, get that out of here. And he's like, what the hell? And he goes on this magical journey. And like the song on its own is so majestic, but when you throw in that sort of extra oomph to say, screw you guys, man, you're going to try to tell us how we should be as a band. We're going to give you one song that's 21 minutes long, and guess what? It's going to be a banger.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to love it. And then the B side of the album is just as good too. Like that's the other thing, is they knocked it out the other side as well. But just to be able to write an entire song about how screwed up the labels are, to stick it to the man and have it be such a monumental accomplishment. So cool.
Yeah, it's hard to not
Love
respect
Rush.
that.
Yeah.
That was another one when Neil Peart died there a few years back. That was another one where it's like, I felt that one,
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
And I can still, like, I'll pull up, videos on YouTube where it's, a lot of times just isolated on his drumming. And it literally, like, oh, man. It,
360 all the way around.
I get teary. I get butterflies. I get
crazy.
Like, chills.
What other band, when you look at the audience when they're watching a live show and every single dork is doing the drum along fills and stuff, like it's he is so unique, and I just love how he was such a motorcycle enthusiast, and he would ride his motorcycle, just
clear his head
alongside the bus, or he would take like side roads and stuff, and just a cool guy. Like some people just have it, and his lyrics are amazing.
That's the biggest. He wrote most of the lyrics, right? Yeah. Like he was like the brain.
And sorry, another side tangent, but the drummer from Belvedere covers a bunch of. I mean, obviously the drum portion, but there's a
big Rush guy?
cool videos. He's a big Rush guy.
Yeah,
sweet.
Cool videos of him doing a bunch of covers.
One last thing here, I don't know if it's late '90s or whatever, but the song "Time Stands Still" is such a banger. Still. Like I really love that one for the kind of more. It's a bit mellower Rush, but they've got some real jams if you just listen to all the albums.
Anything you want, it's there. Like they've done so many different types of music.
And then at the end, like the last album, Clockwork Angels or whatever, fantastic. I think two of those songs were on our wedding mix.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta have the Rush. And at that point, because I forget what album, but the Geddy's vocals were just so high for one of them, where he was just reaching much above his natural range.
For sure.
But yeah, with the Clockwork Angels, it's kind of more mature, and it's got a little bit of a lower tone, and I just really, really enjoy the vocals on that album.
Yeah, they're so incredible at staying within themselves while exploring so much.
Yeah, one thing, though, like the best thing about Geddy Lee is the bass playing. Like, who does that?
And to be able to sing while you're doing it.
And play keys.
Like the bass lines. Like
keys with his feet.
Dude, could you imagine? Okay, so you're keying with your feet.
Playing keys, playing bass.
And you're playing some of the most complicated bass lines you've ever seen
all
or heard.
counterpoint melodies.
Yeah, and just always singing.
No, I can't.
Drives me nuts.
Sorry, still singing "Time Stands Still" in my head.
Oh, it's so good.
Time stands still.
When Neil died, when KD and I talked about this before, the great drummer lawyer from One Bad Son, Kurt Dahl, anytime any musician died, he was my first phone call. I'm like, KD, come on, we're going to talk about this guy. And that Neil Peart one was so different in that KD's not a big Rush guy, but you don't have to be a big Rush guy to acknowledge how incredible this dude was at what he did.
Yeah.
Like, if you ever watch a live show, like be it on DVD or whatever it is the kids watch, and you just, like you say, ISO the drums. Yeah. The guy is literally hitting chimes. He's hitting xylophones. He's hitting tempo blocks. He's turning and hitting like toms in the back of his head. And he's going all the time. And not once does it ever feel like anything's out of place.
Oh, he was just so good with his drum solos. Because again, like I'm kind of one of those guys. Drum solos can kind of be a bit yawny for me, like once you've seen enough of them.
La-di-da.
But
okay.
All
right.
I'm fairly pretentious.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, with him, he'll be like signaling kind of samples as he's going along, and then he'll play along to it. And he also he's got a way where he'll set it up like he says he wants to have humor in his solo. Like it's just so methodical, everything that he does, where he's not just playing beats. There's like a reason he's telling a story. It builds, intensity, and then it goes down to nothing, and it's just very, very impressive. And another thing with him is he's again, Travis Barker. Those are two drummers. You can take all the music away, and they're so melodic in the way they play drums that you can hear the songs without any. Where normally you hear just a normal drum beat, that could be any song. Right. But those two guys.
And I think his kit is that much larger than maybe the normal person's kit.
Fair
his
enough.
solo can be just
anything.
That
There's
much
more options.
Anything.
It's not just
anything.
Whatever.
I did not think we'd go off on Rush for that.
Man,
look at us go.
That really escalated.
That was awesome.
Quickly.
LB, you like Rush? Where's he at? Oh yeah, good for you.
I got
And
one.
I think it's one of those bands that people don't even know they like. A lot of times, like there was, we went to Fleetwood Mac. We got free tickets to go to Fleetwood Mac like 10 or
Jackpot.
15 years ago, and like I knew I had heard of Fleetwood Mac. I knew some of their songs, but then I went. And I'm like, holy shit, this is a Fleetwood Mac. Oh, and this one too. And I'm singing along to all of them. And I think that's what Rush is for people almost too. Like I think Rush has a very definitive sound kind of thing, but you'll hear it on the radio or whatever. And then people are like, you put in a CD or a record or whatever. And they're like, oh my God, like this is Rush. Like, and they have that same like realization. They're like, oh, I really like this song, but I never knew I liked Rush until I connect with the dots or whatever.
What's your guys' stance on the love-hate relationship that people have with Geddy's voice?
Show me these people where are they?
I was waiting for that. That's always the biggest argument. Oh, I hate Rush. That singer, his voice is just too much. It's the worst.
Yeah, I've got the one guy that works the scale at the landfill. He doesn't like Rush, and I'm like, that's fine. I like Rush. So anytime it's on the radio, I'll be like, hey, Daryl, can you tune in to 98.3 right now? And I'll be like, nice. But yeah,
I think that's part of what makes Rush.
Yeah,
right? Like
of course.
It's their sound, and so I think it would be weird not having that Geddy Lee's voice
it's so distinctive.
It's
just like everything else with the band, it stands out.
But I understand why some people don't like it. I guess
get it.
because sometimes it can be really high and there's certain things. But man, I like it. I like Dave Mustaine's voice. Like I'm one of those guys that just sometimes a voice that isn't necessarily the most beautiful voice, it works for that band, like you were saying.
Well, and they've made it right. Like they've made it work for their sound, right? Yeah. Like you take it out and try to plop it in something else, maybe it's not going to work. Yeah. But I mean,
doing folk songs with Dave Mustaine.
I'm thinking about all these punk bands with singers that sound just like us, and that we just love them, and that it's almost endearing because that you can sing the song just like them.
Exactly.
Right? And it's just all about passion. And like Fat Mike sings about it. It's like you just need to have passion and you can sing. It doesn't matter if you're good or not. You just got to believe in yourself and be passionate.
What's that one song, where he's getting that first note? He's like, and then he finally hits the main note. And you're like, oh, that's cool.
Man.
He's tone deaf like me.
Yeah, and he's got Eric Melvin in the background telling him, no, higher. Yeah. No, there it is. And then they just go, getting amped up again. Sorry. So you got Rush here now without their drummer. What's your guys' take on bands continuing to play after a member passes or leaves?
Certain bands cannot. I don't think Rush could.
I think Rush is one of those.
I think it would be. I would say just do Alex Life's and Geddy Lee and just do
your own side project.
An evening with Alex and Geddy.
I think it might be different. I mean, I try to fill in that. Like I say, I don't think it's possible.
Yeah.
But I think it would also be different if they were 5 years in, you know what I mean, as opposed to 40 years in or whatever.
Oh, for sure.
It might be.
It's a good run.
Whereas you can, they're not gonna bring in another drummer after 40 years of playing music or 50 years of playing music or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what you could do though, as a celebration of the Rush's music, and do it for like if it was like at a Juno event or like a Grey Cup or something, and get a bunch of like Canadian star drummers to come in. That could kind of be fun to do. That'd something like that, or doing like a one night, just like a celebration of the music, but you're not saying Rush is back.
Right.
I think that's where people get annoyed, is when, like with Pantera, I know a lot of people are annoyed calling it Pantera because it doesn't have Dimebag and Vinny. Mickey D, the drummer, he drums for Scorpions, but he used to drum. Used to drum for Motorhead, and he said like we would never try and do Motorhead without Lemmy. That's another one of those bands.
Monumental.
You need this certain guy to do it.
Yeah. So now the question is, maybe that answers itself, because who the hell can play like Neil played?
Anybody that plays in Dream Theater.
I guess, if you want to get really technical. If you want to get a very technical drummer, I guess you could hop in there and say...
Just go to like Berkeley Music College and just find some dorks.
We love dorks here on your show, hanging out with the All Out of Angst podcast bros, being Matt from all the bands and Uncle Mike from all the natural products. By the way, damn 20 promo code. Mom, I know you want to buy some stuff again. hit up the Damn 20 promo code, as well as my sister. Anyone, the other 2 people watching, I don't know who else it would be. Probably my mom and my sister.
Damn 20.
Hit it up, and let's get some deals on all of Uncle Mike's incredible products. How's things going at the store? You getting in the groove now?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Had a new employee start last week, the week before, maybe. So that's good. Just some training and some, she's getting used to the space and figuring it all out. So,
You got here pretty on time today.
Yes, yeah.
So I feel like you're in the zone.
Yes, I'm now. Tuesdays have opened up again, where I can leave a little bit early without any repercussions from customers. Closing the doors early or anything like that. So no, it's good. It feels a lot more comfortable. Just getting back to, I can kind of get my days back on track, because now I have a little more, some capable help. And
Do you do fall stuff? Does
do.
fall stuff roll around the shop? You know how like summertime and wintertime,
right?
is there
Yeah,
like
I do some
turnover,
kind of seasonal products, I guess.
Yeah.
So those will be coming out here right away. And then just kind of prepping for Christmas, I guess. Like, it's crazy to think all of a sudden that's
the one.
But people are a lot more organized than I am, and we'll start shopping, Christmas shopping in like October, which blows my mind, but it's something I've learned over the last few years, that I try to, at least on my end, have more products or the seasonal products available for people that are on the ball and not shopping on Christmas Eve.
I feel like there's no Christmas spirit when you're shopping in October.
It's very tricky to get into the spirit. The spirit does not exist. I mean, for me, it needs to be snow on the ground.
Yes. Here.
That will
Here.
dictate. And, Christmas Story has to be playing on at least 3 different channels.
That's your
on
one?
the
That's
TV
your go-to? To shoot your eye out.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't. I probably haven't watched it in quite a few years, but I guess we have TV, but we don't subscribe to channels.
So proud of you for doing that.
I mean, we have the
stuff.
So he gets no pretentious comment for not watching TV.
Right. I watch some TV, but it's usually when we go over to my mom's house or whatever. They've got the satellite, and they've got
all the good
Christmas
stuff.
Story on for 4 days straight, and then Back to the Future, and
National Lampoon,
Christmas
Vacation,
and
Home Alone,
and then I usually catch 15 minutes of it.
And then you get your fix.
Yeah,
Have you ever spent Christmas time in a place that's warm? No?
I've never been to a place that's been warm.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Just you wait, boy.
It gets hot.
Spend an eternity.
He ain't going down
Talking to
there.
the devil's associate over here.
No, man. He's coming up.
I checked the list here. We got some guys on the list.
Have you done one of those?
Not like it was in like Missouri. My mom was born in Missouri, so I think we did a Christmas down in like Fredericktown, Missouri. So it wasn't like the Bahamas or Mexico or Hawaii. Like it was just small town, southern America.
What'd you think of it?
There was no snow. It was hot. It was weird.
Yeah. All those things check out.
And I'm not a huge Christmas guy, but I mean, like, it's Christmas. It needs to friggin' be white.
Yeah.
And snowy.
Family.
And
white, snowy.
I want to smell some pine trees and
that's it.
Get a fruit cake on.
Yeah.
I had one, and I said I'll never do it again. I was in Australia with my buddy Doobie and my buddy Brody, and we were staying in I believe it was the Coffee Palace in St. Kilda. And on Christmas Eve, we went and got our wine, our $4 box of wine, the Coolabah wine, mixed it with Fanta. One of us may or may not have went to a Christmas Eve Mass with said box of wine into the church. It was not me.
He's on my list. He's
clearly on the list.
He's going to be spending way more hot Christmases.
He could not believe that they wouldn't allow him to bring his own wine into the church on Christmas Eve.
They're handing it out to everyone. Like,
dude, it's $4 for a 4-liter box of wine. How the heck? And then the best part was that once you're done the wine, you can just blow up the pouch inside and use it as a pillow.
Yeah, those pouches are pretty sweet. Yeah.
So that was Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day we went down to the beach. And I remember sitting there on the beach. It was so hot, and I was like, man, what the hell am I doing? Like, it's Christmas time. You're supposed to be with family. You're supposed to be where there's snow. You're supposed to do all this stuff. So I said, that's the one time, and I'll never do it again. It's just not the same.
Yeah, we always do like the 4 kids, or whoever's in. Like Lynn lives in New Zealand now, but we always go out to the skating rink by John G. Agnatoff, and
get your skate on, baby.
Always play a bit of hockey.
Yep. Traditions.
And I threw my shoulder. I think it was last winter. I threw my shoulder out because I was doing the. Who's that rides the hockey stick and does? I was doing that move, and then I ended up kind of compressing my shoulders.
Tiger
together.
Williams.
Yeah, Tiger Williams. I was doing the Tiger Williams.
Happy Gilmore.
Also true.
But yeah, it's
You tweaked the groin doing the old Tiger Williams?
No, like basically, I kind of fell, and my like shoulders went together, and I felt a pop, and it was like a good 6 weeks of pain.
Geez.
So I'm like, I'm not doing the Tiger Williams anymore.
Too big of a celly.
Too old.
That's basically how all hockey goes now, hey? Like, this, the littlest things just break everything. God, getting old's the worst. What the hell's wrong with us?
Yeah, it's not great.
Should we start doing steroids like our baseball heroes?
I'm not against it.
Okay, maybe we can get a steroid sponsor. Well, I mean, it can't be that bad, right? If Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire could do it, I'm sure we could.
Daryl Strawberry. Who's the guy in The Simpsons where his head grew?
Gigantism.
Yeah, what is that?
Because it's brain tonic.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I
We're
still like
talking
when
softball.
Steve Sachs. It's like there's hundreds of unsolved murders in New York. You don't know when to shut your mouth, do you, Saxy boy?
Cut those sideburns higher.
I don't know what you think sideburns are.
The best, still better than Steinbrenner. The best episode of The Simpsons of all time. I think that's it.
So good.
That's it. Royal Anders in the house. Hi, cutie pie. Can I get you to reach behind that TV and just turn on my my radio package there? All the way back on the ground. Or not on the ground. Yeah, that thing. Just give it a pop. We got it moved, and now I always forget to turn it on. He's got it. Oh, LB.
I saw a light go on.
Yeah, we're good. Now, we have something very special here that's about to go down. I don't know what it is.
Oh, boy.
All we got was a simple warning of when we're about to do Frankie's Fingers. Just make sure you let me know and make sure this man in the middle is on camera. So, with that in mind, LB, why don't we go ahead and play us out? And it has begun.
I noticed something a little different about him today.
Oh, well, he's been sweating in there. What is going? No, he's not. No, he's not. Oh, he's got abs. He's got it. He was juicing. He was juicing.
Not going to make it to the Hall of Fame with those muscles.
It looks so real. Oh. Have you ever met a power piano player before?
That was my shirt I lent you, man. What the hell?
Oh, comedian. Oh, my God. Oh, to LB, thank you for kicking the show off today with our Rider Insiderness and putting the show on. To Royal Anders, my sweet prince, thank you for pushing that button, buddy. So excited to hang out with you. Oh, this is unbelievable. Look at that. Man, you got back delts? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I've been
So
putting in some
good.
work these last few days.
You are not kidding. To Matt from all the band's abs, thank you. I'm going to do some laundry on there
Extra
later.
nipple?
Yeah, it's like kind of
Oh,
hangs
just
a little.
'cause you-
No, that's
just 'cause
all
it's-
me.
Oh, okay.
This is all me.
I don't judge. I don't judge.
Oh, man. Uncle Mike, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
It's great to
A
see you.
special shout out to my beautiful wife who celebrated her 29th birthday on Sunday.
29!
29,
Congratulations!
29. She'll
Yeah.
appreciate 29.
I was going to say, I thought she was 27.
Yeah, well,
Either
it was
or.
2 years ago.
Happy birthday. Beautiful. Do you make her watch the show?
I
Hopefully
will
she
this
sees it,
one
yeah.
for sure.
Just tell her
She
it's
has to.
special.
She does normally.
This was
tune
her
in.
present that you got for her, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not very often we get Chippendales
Surprise.
playing pianos on our way out
Surprise.
of your show. Whew. This is incredible. And you haven't stopped either. Why does he look so jacked? Oh my God. I just, sometimes you just got to let a show breathe and just let it play itself out. It's absolutely beautiful. Look at that.
It's so good.
Remember, karma's very, very real. Do good things and they'll start happening to you. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.